The Pops. Tonight I'm looking for a DJ who's been described as the most influential person in pop music for the last quarter of a century. He's plucked bands from obscurity: Rod Stewart, Pink Floyd, Mark Bolan, David Bowie, to name but a few. And it all happened because he used his Merseyside accent to set himself up as an expert on the Beatles in America back in the early 60s. Right, it's time for me to get among the action. I'm so hip it's beginning to hurt.
Next week, Ronan and Steve out of Boyzone will be doing this job. Don't forget Top of the Pops 2 on Saturday afternoon. Off you go now, nothing below the waist.
Yes, very good indeed. Thank you, John. Good evening. This is not a Radio 2 takeover. It's slightly more than that. I've come into your space because tonight, John Peel, this is your life.
I don't know what... Oh. Perfect end to a perfect day. I'm at a loss for words, unusual in a DJ, but I am on this occasion.
Well, I'm very pleased to hear that, because I've got a lot to say when we get back to our studios. A lot of surprises, some musical and some not.
Right, I was looking forward to going home, Michael. I have to be honest with you, but there you go.
It's not a late bath for you tonight, I'm afraid. So, if you like to spin a disc this way, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you next time. Good night. Thanks for having me. John, what do you normally do after Top of the Pops? Go and lie down and stare at the ceiling or something?
Well, it's 9 years since I did one previously, and I was astonished to be asked to do one again, I have to admit. And very pleased to do it, of course, but I always come away with a terrible headache, because I'm not a natural TV performer, so lying down would be a very good thing indeed. I'd like to do it now, actually.
We'll just give it half an hour, OK? Well, here, as you've seen with your wife, Sheila, are the 4 children who regard you as very much Top of the Pops. Talking of which, here are some of the stars you helped along the way.
You led me away from home, just to save you from being alone. You stole my heart, but I love you anyway. Walk beside me, walk on by, get me to the church on time. Church on time, terrifies me. Church on time, makes me party. Church on time, puts my trust in God.
David Bowie's on Song for You Now.
Hi, John. I remember that around 1965 I did an audition for the BBC and I failed. And the report said, this vocalist is devoid of personality and sings all the wrong notes. So in your inimitable manner and with tremendous enthusiasm, you got me back on for another audition, which I passed the second time around, which gave me freewheeling access to a lifetime of singing all the wrong notes. And I guess there's a lot of us out here who really thank you, John, for having faith in us and what we've been trying to do. So from all of us, thank you very much.
Thank you, David. And here is the man who has shared the pleasures of Top of the Pops with you, David Jensen.
Oh, great.
The seagull being the mascot for Brighton, quickly followed by machine gun fire.
Yes, that's right. Yes, absolutely right. Yes, you've got a good memory.
Yeah. I got lots of more, but I think...
That'll do nicely. People. David, thanks very much. Talking of Liverpool, Alexandra, can you oblige us with everyone's full Christian names?
I'm Alexandra Mary Anfield, and this is William Robert Anfield. and this is Florence Victoria Shankly, and that's Thomas and James Dalgleish.
Very interesting, which I think calls for a comment from your personal hero.
Oh, John, you're passionate in the photography. I'm sure you're going to have a memorable and successful evening. Every bit as successful and enjoyable as what you had. Many a night when you stood in the cop watching Liverpool play a European tie. Your passion for the club is reflected in the names and the selection of names that you've chosen for your children. You're just 7 short of a team now. But I'm sure with that team behind you, you yourself will never walk alone. I hope you have a great night.
Thank you, Kenneth. Well, John Peel, this is your life, and you were born on August the 30th, 1939, at Heswell, near Liverpool, and christened John Robert Parker Ravenscroft. You were the first of 3 sons of cotton merchant Bob Ravenscroft and his wife Harriet, and at 18 months you were a blonde bombshell.
I was gorgeous.
You were lovely.
Yes, absolutely.
Stunning. Because your father was away at war in North Africa, you were 6 years old before you recognised him, is that right?
That's right, yes. We were... Alan, of course, wasn't born then, but Francis and I were on holiday in North Wales, and in those days, if you heard a motorbike or a car and thing like that, you ran out to look at it. Amazing to think that now, but Frank will tell me that I've got the story completely wrong, as he always does, but we heard a motorbike coming down the road, and we went out to have a look at it, and the chap on it indicated he's going to turn into the driveway. We were rather scared by this. We ran into the house, and I ran upstairs, and my mum was washing her hair in the sink overlooking the driveway. And I said, Mummy, there's a funny-looking man at the door. And she said, that's your dad.
Oh. Well, at 7, you were a boarder at Woodlands Prep School in Deganwy, North Wales, and then in 1953, you go on to public school, Shrewsbury. Now, Alan, your brother had one memorable school report.
Yes, it said very simply, this is a particularly beastly child.
Well, I wonder if this had something to do with it.
Ghost riders in the sky.
Now, that, of course, was a favourite of yours.
Yeah, it was, yeah. What a man.
But, John, you played it so often, you nearly drove me up the wall.
Which is possibly why you haven't seen him for 15 years, your school friend, Malcolm Davis.
What a wonderful...
Malcolm, how did you get involved?
Well, can you remember, John, when you were too young to be allowed to play a gramophone on your own?
Yes,
You used to
yes,
bring
yes.
that wind-up gramophone into my study. And we used to play Ghost Riders in the Sky until we nearly wore a groove through to the other side.
The Kids' Last Fight, and I Believe,
Oh, yes,
Answer Me,
yes.
and yes,
Yeah.
I can sing them for you now. Rocket
Well,
Gibraltar.
And I reckon that was part of your downward path to fame.
Yes, no question about it.
But perhaps next time Michael Charlesworth writes to you, it'll be to invite you back as one of the people who did rather better than
I'd like that
you mentioned
enormously.
last
I
time.
would like that a lot, yes.
Malcolm, thanks.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Now, in 1958, the Army claimed you as one of the last national servicemen before the scheme was abolished. You were demobbed in 1960, and your father sends you to America to learn the cotton trade. The Dallas Cotton Exchange doesn't excite you, so you switch to selling crop insurance to farmers. Back home, Liverpool's Cavern Club is rocking to the sound of this pop music phenomenon in the making, the Beatles. You decide to board the bandwagon on the Dallas radio station KLIF. You became their Beatles expert, didn't you?
I certainly did. Where did you get that photograph? I've never seen that before.